Live.
Hello and welcome to a special conference championship edition of College Game Day. Um, we're going to be going through each of the games play by play, and we have Dean Craig Pelton, I Live in a Dreamatorium, and Saluna, who's out at the moment, but will be here for our game.
Mm-hmm.
The first game on the slate tonight. Wait, first, Dean and Dream, you should say who you are so people know which one pops up.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm Dream.
and I am Dean Craig Pelton, and this is my normal voice.
All right. So let's go through some of the games we have tonight. Starting in about 10 minutes, we'll start with the AAC Championship. So for that one, what do you guys think? Brian Brown is injured for Boise State. Can they still take out the Pirates, or does that give ECU a chance?
Now, I've never been Boise State's biggest fan, but you can't really deny the fact that they've had a very good season, and you got to look for them to come out strong still. They came out strong against Oregon, and I don't think this ECU game is going to be much different. Now, a lot of people were making predictions. They seem to favor ECU more than some other teams this week, but I think ECU has the least chance of taking out a better opponent in the eyes of many people.
Yeah, I have to agree. Kind of there. ECU, I'd like to see them win. I really would, because first of all, that might leave me as the lone undefeated team going to the playoffs, and that'd be great. And also, you'd like to see the underdog win, but even without Brian Brown, Boise State's still the better team on paper. But they are fairly one-dimensional. ECU kind of has that Mississippi State chance for an upset, but I don't really see it happening. But I want to see it happen. But yeah, Boise
Do
State,
you
I
give
have.
ECU any chance to even keep this close?
Yeah,
I
give them
think
a chance to
ECU
keep
can.
it close.
Yeah, I'll give them that chance too.
And there's Saluna. He's a little
Happy.
intoxicated from the.
It should make things interesting, but anyways, let's move on to the next game.
After the next one is the ACC Championship, Florida State versus North Carolina, and
I gotta say that I really want to see touchdown Jesus succeed. He's had some magical games, and you can really never count UNC out. But Florida State's a strong team, and I gotta say, even though they did lose to Mississippi State, and a lot of people think their team is suspect. I mean, I'm one of them. I think they're overrated, but I still think they beat UNC tonight. I think touchdown Jesus keeps it close and maybe makes a little bit of a comeback. I think they'll go behind early, and I think they keep it close, but I don't think it's going to be enough against FSU.
Yeah, Florida State is overrated, but for the most part, so is North Carolina. Touchdown Jesus can be good, but right now he's not as great as he will be in the future. And he's just not quite there yet. He gets to throw the ball a lot, but that doesn't necessarily make him like one of the elite quarterbacks in the nation necessarily. But he can perform well. I don't necessarily see him performing well. Thomas Wheeler is definitely a better quarterback right now than Touchdown Jesus. We'll see what happens.
There's no denying Thomas Wheeler is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the nation, especially going into the NFL draft with a very high rating, just a couple points below Brian Brown. I agree with y'all. A.J. Jefferson is going to need to make some magic for this North Carolina team. But you brought up the question of Florida State being overrated. You think if they win this game, they'll secure a playoff bid?
It really depends on the other stuff that happens. I think if you see Georgia take out Bama, if you see Ohio State take out Wisconsin, then FSU definitely secures a bid with a victory. If you don't see that stuff, it becomes debatable because they don't really have any huge wins. They beat Oklahoma, and that team lost to West Virginia. So when you look at it, what has FSU done against other teams? A lot of people would say Michigan State has a stronger resume than FSU, even with the win over UNC. So Kansas is around the same length of FSU.
And
But
Wisconsin, if they get that victory against Ohio State, they'd be
Oh,
like about
they're
what 5-1 versus top 25 teams. Florida
yeah.
State definitely does not have that go to a resume.
yeah,
Let's move on to that game now. The number 9 Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Wisconsin Badgers. And I'll ask Dream to take the analysis before we get to the head coach of Ohio State.
sure.
This one is probably going to be one of the better games of the night. Both teams, they both have it's the Big Ten. It's been one of the best conferences this year. Has some of the best teams, but the teams kind of clash with each other, and it caused a bunch of it has really hurt some other teams' playoff chances. And any other year, the Big Ten might definitely have a team in the playoffs this year, but now it's kind of uncertain. But that being said, Wisconsin, I know I haven't been that big of a fan of them in my poll recently,
Yeah.
but I definitely think that they're just going to pull this one off. Ohio State lost to Michigan last week. You know,
Well, Dean, now what do you think about your team's chances?
All right, now I will say I do like our chances a bit. We made some adjustments after the Michigan game. It was a huge wake-up call for our guys. Getting beat by your biggest rival is never a fun thing to go through. It may even lead some coaches to quitting or losing their jobs at some points. And the way we looked at it was we still want to earn our spot in the Big. We don't just want to get it. So I think we can win this game, and I won't say we will win this game. I think Wisconsin definitely has a good chance. I believe he consulted the Michigan coach, and we'll see what happens there because he seemed to figure me out. But I made some adjustments this week, so we'll see if it was enough.
All right. And on to the next game, the Big 12 Championship, the number 6 Kansas Jayhawks against the number 24 Baylor Bears. And I've just been notified our co-host Saluna power went out, so he may be missing for the first couple games.
Ooh, that stinks. But anyways, for the Big 12 championship game, you have a rematch of one of the greatest games so far this season. And if it even does half of the magic of that game, we're looking at a treat of a game. Really, Kansas, they're out for blood. They lost to Baylor. It cost them a chance at a perfect season. Kansas would easily be a favorite for the playoffs right now had it not been for that game, because Kansas has done a really good job since then of recuperating, and recovering. And I really like their chances here. Otero and Christopher Brooks are amazing players, and I really think they'll lead Kansas to victory here over Baylor. But you still have Joshua Andrews, and you never know what he's going to do. He always seems to put up big performances when needed, unless you take him out like TCU did.
Certainly looking to get back after that loss to Baylor earlier in the season.
Yeah.
All right. We're trying to move quickly. Let's get to the Pac-12 championship. USC versus Wisconsin. And we have
Washington.
the coach of USC,
Well,
right?
I'm not playing Wisconsin, the Pac-12
Washington.
championship. That would be some bullshit.
But anyways,
Washington.
I do not like Washington. Excuse me, I take that back. I do like Washington's chances here. USC has played a lot of teams close recently, except for UCLA. Maybe Dream finally figured it out, but I think USC's been very unpredictable and very unstable with their performances. So Washington, I think they're underrated a bit. I think some of the stuff that TCTY did earlier on in the season might have cost them some stuff or some victories. I demolished Washington earlier on in the season, but do not be surprised if they take this one tonight. I'll still pick USC by a close margin, but don't be surprised if Washington wins.
What do you think, Dream?
I'd be surprised if Washington won. I haven't lost a game yet this season. Don't think I will now. I mean, I might be fairly predictable, but my team's still better than Washington's team.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's some confidence right there from the USC coach.
Yeah, very confident.
We'll see how
hear tears.
Nate Craig and Jerry Rambo, the leaders of this USC offense, do against Washington. And now going to our last game of the night, and maybe one of the most interesting. Georgia State or Georgia,
Georgia State.
Georgia State in the SEC championship game.
Georgia versus Alabama in the SEC championship game. Who do you got? What's
All
up?
right. Now, I would not look for a lot of offense in this game. These are two teams, and then usually when you have an SEC championship game, you're not looking at a lot of offense in the first place. But these teams have been at least fairly adequate at shutting some guys down. Alabama has one of the better defenses in this game. They basically shut me down when we played them. Kotar wasn't able to get much done through the air. I look for Georgia to maybe attack through some power running, maybe, because I don't know if Armour will be able to get it done through the air. Kotar wasn't able to, so we'll see what happens there.
Well, hurry
I'll
up.
pick Georgia to win by a slim margin. I'll take a Skip Gibson field goal late in the game.
Well,
Okay.
go ahead, Dream.
Yeah,
But we're about to start the first game.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just make this quick here. They say defense wins championships. That's definitely true in the SEC. And I think Bama has a slightly better defense than Georgia, and they just have a slightly better team all around. I didn't like what I saw from Georgia last week. I'm not sure like what I see from them this week. I'm taking Bama for this victory.
Okay. And now we're headed to New Orleans, Louisiana. Huh. Where it's 67 and sunny out. And since Saluna's missing, I'll take Dean to be my co-host for this game, do some color commentating.
Oh, okay.
I'll mute my mic now.
Yeah. And as we start, I think Dean should make a score prediction for this
All right,
game.
so for this game, you're looking at ECU taking on Boise State, correct?
Correct?
I did not lose my mind. Okay, now I like ECU to keep this one a little close. I think it'll be under the 3-touchdown spread, I believe it was. I'll put it at 35-24 Boise victory.
Okay. Well, we're just underway here. Boise State has kicked the ball off, and ECU with the first possession. Now, we're going to be skipping around a little bit to most of the important plays. So now ECU has the ball, 1st and 10 from the Boise State 14-yard line. Kevin Moore takes a snap, fakes the handoff, and looks to throw. He feels pressure and rolls out of the pocket, breaks a tackle, and now he's got the edge. He's headed toward the corner of the end zone, one man to beat, and he's got it. Touchdown ECU, and the Pirates take an early 7-0 lead over the heavily favored Broncos.
So they have now tied Germany in scoring, I believe.
Correct, for this first quarter.
So they matched it. That's interesting. Okay.
But we are only 10 minutes in, or we are less than 5 minutes into the first quarter.
Ooh. So a quick strike from ECU.
Quick strike.
I don't think a lot of people suspected that.
All right. Boise State now with the ball looking to tie up the game. Steve Bowers in for the Broncos. He takes a snap and sees Keith Setzer running across the field and throws it, and it's picked off. Peter Adams jumps the route. Bowers just didn't see him, and ECU is in business.
You gotta imagine if it's Brian Brown out there, he's making that throw, and it'll be a touchdown, but just a huge mistake by Bowers.
Yep, and he does that with 6:17 left on the clock, so ECU has another chance to score before the end of the first quarter.
Great start for ECU.
And now they have the ball 4th and 2 on the 2-yard line. Kevin Moore still under center, looking for a way to get this team in the end zone. They're going for it. He takes a snap, hands it off to Christopher Welch, who leaps over the pile. It's going to be close. The ref come, and they say touchdown ECU. He got the ball over the goal line, and the Pirates take a 14-0 lead.
You gotta believe.
And that is actually the end of the first quarter. ECU up 14-0.
This is unbelievable. I don't think any of us saw this coming. We'll see if Boise State can bounce back here as we start the second quarter.
And we are with Boise State in a prime position to cut this lead in half. 2 minutes in the second quarter. Boise State knocking on the door, ball in the ECU 11-yard line. Bowers trying to redeem himself from the earlier interception. Lines up with Keith Setzer split out to his left. He takes the snap and immediately looks towards Setzer. He throws up a lob. This could be dangerous, but Setzer goes up and makes the grab. He has 2 men covering, but somehow he outleaped them and took down the touchdown. Boise cuts the lead in half. It's 14-7 ECU.
Great move by Setzer to get Boise back in the game.
Now Boise's kicking off after the touchdown. James Haynes to return. Ball's kicked deep, and James gets it 3 yards into the end zone. He takes it out to the 30, and DJ Reed wraps him. Wait! He breaks the tackle. He wasn't down. He's still going. He's got the sideline. He's to the 50-yard line now. One man to beat. He cuts it inside, and no one's going to catch him. Touchdown ECU. Officially a 100-yard return, and ECU pushes their lead back to 14.
Wow. Just wow. I don't think anyone saw Boise going down 21-7 in the first half. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Ooh, and that's with 12:46 on the clock. Now,
Unbelievable.
14 left in the half now. Boise State just trying to stop the bleeding. Paul Compton lines up to take the 38-yard field goal. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it's good. Boise State brings the score to 21-10.
All right.
And
I don't know if I see Boise coming. Well, I think Boise can easily come back from this. We'll see how Ka makes adjustments.
now with 2:43 left in the first half, ECU trying to take their 11 points and go. The Pirates are in an I formation, and the ball is snapped to Moore, who quickly hands it off to Welch. Welch takes the ball and runs right up the middle for a 2-yard gain, but he fumbles!
Oh.
The Broncos are saying they have it, and they do. Sean Bowers comes up with the loose ball, which puts Boise State near midfield with a chance to pull even closer before the half.
Great play by Boise.
And now the Broncos have it 4th and 10 with 53 left on the clock, and they seem content to take the points and go into half. Paul Compton coming out for his second field goal of the night. Ball is snapped, hold is good, kick is up, and it's good. With less than a minute left on the clock in the half, the score is now 21-13 ECU. Boise State within 8.
Just hold on to the ball, ECU.
And that is our halftime score.
Great stuff for ECU, but Boise started to come back a little bit there. We'll see if Bowers can get the ball moving. Didn't get great enough. They were held to 2 field goals. We'll see what they can do in the second half.
Yep, Boise State currently trailing 21-13, and we have our halftime flyover.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're getting into the second half. Boise State now has the ball on ECU's 24, desperately trying to get back into the end zone. Steve Bowers lines up in shotgun, Dontrell Jackson to his left. Ball is snapped, Bowers looks to throw, and he hands it off to Jackson on the draw. Jackson takes it to the right and powers through a tackle. He's still on his feet. 15, 10, 5, and he runs through a guy at the goal line for the touchdown. 24-yard run by Dontrell Jackson to bring his Boise State team down 1, pending the extra point.
Great job there by Jackson, really stepping up in Brown's absence.
Well done. And moving on, 3:44 left in the third quarter, and Dontrell Jackson has led this Boise State team back down the field all the way to ECU's 7-yard line. The Broncos are in I formation now, and it looks like they're going to try and get Jackson take his way to the end zone. Bowers takes the snap, and they do hand it off to Jackson. They burst through the line into the end zone. Touchdown, Boise State. Dontrell Jackson's second touchdown of the quarter, and Boise State now leads 27-21.
ECU has just not looked that great here in the second half. They need to make some adjustments and quickly.
Yep. Now, 5 seconds left in the third quarter. ECU has the ball on Boise State's 22, 4th and 7. And they send the field goal unit out, Robbie Fitzpatrick, to kick his first of the night. Snap is good, hold is good, and the kick is up, and it's good. Fitzpatrick hits the 39-yarder to make the score 27-24 and bring the Pirates to 3 down entering the fourth quarter.
ECU is going to need to make a stop here. They can't let Boise score again.
Now with 14-21 right at the start of the fourth quarter, Boise State is knocking on the door once again. 3rd and 2 from the ECU 19. Boise in I formation again. Bowers under center. Will they give it to their workhorse, Dontrell Jackson, again? Bowers takes the snap and rolls to his right. It looks like he's running the option. Bowers tosses it out to Jackson, who runs it to the 17 for the first down, but he's still going. Down to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dontrell Jackson again. And Boise State pushes their lead to 34-24 on a 19-yard touchdown by Dontrell Jackson.
Jackson is putting this team on his back, and if they win this game, it's going to be because of him. Great job for that kid.
He really is. ECU now has the ball at the Boise 30, trying to get back into this game where they led by as much as 14. Kevin Moore lines up in shotgun, ECU running 5 wide receivers. Moore takes a snap and looks for his go-to guy, Robert McMahon. Dangerous throw, and Jayshon Watts picks it off. Moore tried to force the ball to his number 1 guy, and it was picked off.
I would like to point out that I recruited Jayshon Watson, lost to Boise, so this.
And that's with 10:04 left on the clock.
I'm sorry.
Under a minute left now. ECU with one last shot to get the ball into the end zone before presumably taking an onside kick. Ball in the Boise 5. Kevin Moore takes the snap and rolls, drops back, feels the pressure and gets rid of it right into the hands of DJ Reed. Reed falls over in the end zone, and that'll do it for the Pirates. Boise State a kneel down away from ending the game with a final score. Boise State 34, ECU 24.
Damn, my prediction was close.
Yep. That is our final. Dream can come back. You can talk about the game for a bit before we get into the ACC championship game.
Okay.
Oh, there's our post-game flyover.
Yeah.
So wow, what a game.
Yeah, you get a lot of people were just rooting for ECU here. They saw the great start, they got excited, and it's a bit of a letdown to see Boise win this game. But a great job by oblivious LAX putting this team to even make it a close game. You got to give credit to Jackson and Jayshon Watts for making that huge play late in the game. The freshman, I believe. So great job by Watts. Great job by Jackson for putting this team on his back.
Dontrell Jackson put the team on his back, but ECU put up a good fight, but when Dontrell Jackson took over, it was over. Dontrell Jackson finished the game with 126 yards rushing on 15 carries and 3 touchdowns. Steve Bowers was 11 of 30 for 104 yards, a touchdown, and interception.
Wow. So horrible performance by Bowers, but Jackson just stepped up big time.
I mean, that's what you kind of expect out of a quarterback of Bowers' caliber when you're still playing like your Brian Brown.
But now you got to think Boise State in the playoffs, not looking too hot with Steve Bowers at quarterback. You got to think.
You got to think they're going to go to Dontrell Jackson for these next games because they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think the problem might be with Boise's system and that they might not be able to go to Jackson as much.
Yeah.
I think that might be as much as Jackson can do in the system.
We'll have to see now.
Pass heavy. And because of Brian Brown, when you lose Brian Brown, you're going to have to rely on Bowers against teams that will, like possibly USC or Wisconsin or Bama, whoever makes it into the playoffs. I'm not sure if Bowers. He barely held up against ECU. I don't see him holding up against those teams.
Yep.
All right. Now we're heading into the ACC championship game with North Carolina Tar Heels versus the Florida State Seminoles. North Carolina with their first drive of the game as Florida State stalled up around midfield. The true freshman Jefferson in shotgun. He takes a snap and looks to throw. He sees his tight end Danny Patrick in the flat. Jefferson sets his feet and throws the ball to Patrick, but it's picked off. Louis Richter for Florida State comes out of nowhere to make the play, and Florida State has the ball deep in North Carolina territory.
They don't call him INT Jesus for nothing.
Yep. Florida State now has the ball in the North Carolina 8-yard line after the interception. Thomas Reeler under center. He takes the snap and pitches out to Keely Rawls, who runs right by the North Carolina defense into the end zone for the easy touchdown. In less than 5 minutes into the first quarter, the Seminoles take advantage of an A.J. Jefferson interception and score first, leading 7-0.
That mistake may prove to be very costly for UNC.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
After the kickoff, North Carolina now pinned deep into their own territory. Ball on their own 3. 3rd down and 11 for the Tar Heels. A.J. Jefferson under center. Bo Woodall split out wide. Jefferson takes a snap and looks for Woodall, but he's covered. He's running out of time. He needs to get rid of it. He sees Billy Rogers wide open deep. He sets his feet to throw, but Lonzel Rentzel gets to him first and brings him down. That's going to be a safety, and Florida State now leads 9-0.
And that means they're getting the possession again, so they can further extend this lead. Horrible start for UNC.
Yeah, it's not looking good because the Seminoles are now knocking on the door for the second time this quarter. They have the ball 2nd and 8 from the North Carolina 14-yard line with 2:29 left on the clock. Thomas Wheeler now in shotgun, Akili Wallace to his left. Ben Thomas split out right. Wheeler takes a snap and fakes the handoff to Wallace. He looks for Thomas. He's got him wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State. The corner bit on the fake, and Thomas had nobody covering him. Seminoles are an extra point away from a 16-0 lead, and that is the end of the first quarter.
I've seen TD Jesus make miracles happen before, but I don't see it happening tonight. I like FSU to keep rolling with Thomas Wheeler at the helm.
Well, with 4:48 left in the half now, the Tar Heels have the ball on the Florida State 23-yard line, just looking to get on the board. 2nd and 6, North Carolina goes 5 wide. Jefferson is shotgun again. He takes the snap and looks right for Woodall. He's covered. Now he's looking for Billy Rogers, who cover as well. He's starting to run out of time, and he runs out of the pocket. He needs a man. He's racing to the sideline. Looks like he's going to throw it away, but he throws it to the other side of the field, and Kevin Hoisington is standing all there by himself. The rest of the defense followed Jefferson and allowed Hoisington to sneak away. Touchdown, North Carolina. That's only Hoisington's second touchdown of the season. And the score is now Florida State 16, North Carolina 7.
Great play. Gotta love touchdown, Jesus.
And before the half, Florida State now has the ball on North Carolina's 22, 4th and 5, and they decide to kick the field goal. Dennis Scott runs out onto the field for the Seminoles to take the kick. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it's good. Seminoles push their lead to 12 with 1:41 left in the half. And that will be your halftime score with... Oh, sorry. That is your halftime score. Florida State 19, North Carolina 7.
I like the Seminoles winning this game, but Touchdown Jesus usually makes his comebacks. Or we see Touchdown Jesus in the situation a lot, makes comeback time after time after time. We'll see if that happens tonight. I don't see it happening. I like Wheeler. I think he's a better quarterback. I don't think he's going to make enough mistakes to allow it to happen. But who knows with Touchdown Jesus? There's always a miracle waiting to happen.
They're down 12 going into the half, but after a good kickoff return, the Tar Heels are pushing forward quickly to start the second half. They've moved it all the way down to the Florida State 10-yard line while taking less than 2 minutes off the clock. A.J. Jefferson trying to keep the pace. The Tar Heels run to the line quickly and snap it. Jefferson looks to his right for Billy Rogers and throws an absolute laser in between 3 defenders right to Rogers for the touchdown. An ill-advised throw, but Jefferson has the power to put it right on the spot. And the Seminole lead is cut to 5.
Unbelievable play by A.J. Jefferson. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he makes magic.
Sure does.
And North Carolina gets the ball back, and now they're driving again. 2nd and 6 on the Florida State 43. Jefferson is in shotgun. Jefferson takes a snap and quickly fires to his number 1 wide receiver, Billy Rogers, but it's picked off. Jim Malloy jumped in front and snatched the ball out of the air. The same throw he made for the touchdown earlier is picked off this time around. And Florida State takes over from their own 46.
Just a bad play by Touchdown Jesus or INT Jesus. Can't keep making those risky passes.
Florida State taking the interception, now knocking on the North Carolina door, trying to push their lead back to 12. Thomas Wheeler under center takes a snap and drops back. He turns to his right and throws a ball up for Rex Walsh. Walsh jumps way in the air to make the grab over the defender. Rex Walsh, at 5'11", uses all of his height to go up and make the play, even while he was well covered. And with the extra point, the Seminoles take a 26-14 lead.
Great play by Walsh.
With 5:17 left in the quarter. Now with 33 seconds left in the quarter, the Tar Heels continue their speedy offensive pace. They have the ball on the Florida State 4-yard line and as they quickly run up to snap it. A.J. Jefferson is shotgun, 3 wide, Jason Clark in the backfield. The ball is snapped and Jefferson immediately gets rid of it to his tight end, Danny Patrick. Patrick with just a little out route off the line, able to body out the defender and make the catch look easy. And North Carolina not going out and easy in this one. The score 26-21 as we approach the end of the third quarter.
Every time they're out, they come right back in. Great job by Touchdown Jesus.
Well done. Danny Patrick with a great catch.
Oh, yeah.
Florida State now with the ball in North Carolina 11, 3rd and 1. Trying to shorten this fourth quarter and give North Carolina as few chances as possible. Florida State in I formation, taking the play clock all the way down to 2 and then snapping the ball. Wheeler fakes the handoff to his fullback Barrett Good and then hands it off to Wallace, who runs to the outside and easily gets the first down and more. All he has left is a safety to beat, and with a solid stiff arm, he does. Touchdown to Keely Wallace, his second of the night.
Great job by Keely Wallace.
And the score is 33-21 Florida State with 12:07 left in the game.
That's enough time for a touchdown Jesus miracle, though.
The Tar Heels are now sitting at their own 24, looking for a bit of a miracle with 4:57 left on the clock. And who better to look for one than touchdown Jesus? 2nd down and 10, North Carolina sits down 12. The Tar Heels go 5 wide as they spent most of this game. Jefferson shotgun. He takes the snap and looks to throw deep. He takes a shot at Woodall, who's streaking down the right sideline, and Roniel Buchanan, picks him off at Florida State 40-yard line, and he's going to try and return it. He gets to the 50 and breaks a tackle. He gets to the sideline. He's got blockers. 40, 30, 20, but that's where he ends up. A.J. Jefferson himself manages to push him out of bounds at the 17-yard line, but Florida State is now in great position to drain some time off the clock and push their lead even further.
It's looking over for UNC.
And
Can't even make a miracle happen from this time.
And Florida State now has the ball on North Carolina's 4-yard line, 3rd and goal. Tar Heels need to stop if they have any hope of winning this. With only 4 minutes left on the clock. Seminoles back into I formation. Wheeler still under center. Takes a snap and hands it off to Keely Wallace, who powers through the line for his 3rd touchdown of the night. A running back known for his speed. Wallace with a powerful move to put the Seminoles up by 19, and that will be your final. The Florida State Seminoles are your ACC champions by a score of 40-21.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if they wind up making the playoffs or not. It'll have to see how some of the other games transgress later tonight.
Ooh, but Florida State was impressive. Thomas Wheeler didn't make any mistakes, and
touchdown Jesus made a lot of mistakes.
Thomas Wheeler was 15 of 21 for 184, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Yeah. A.J. Jefferson, 24 of 51 for 283, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, great job by the FSU defense. Gotta give credit where credit's due there. It's not easy to shut down A.J. Jefferson.
And Keely Wallace, your player of the game for Florida State, with 22 carries for 144 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He stepped up big when they needed him to. That was a very clutch performance by Wallace.
Billy Rogers had a big night for North Carolina, too, with 11 catches for 151 and a touchdown.
Yeah, he gave it his best.
In the end, Florida State is your winner. And now it looks like we're heading off to the big championship game, but before that, I will ask Dream to come in and be my co-host because...
Okay. I can do that.
Because Dean's coaching in this game.
Yeah.
Dream, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're in the first quarter here with 3:39 left. Wisconsin seemed poised to be the first team to get on the board. They have the ball 3rd and 7 from the Ohio State 25 line. Wiegert's in shotgun with Wisconsin in a 4-wide formation with trips on the right. Wiegert takes a snap and looks to the right and pump fakes. He turns upfield and he's got Deaton Murkowski, who broke away from the coverage. He sets his feet to throw, but he is hit when he releases the ball. The ball flutters up in the air, and it's picked off by Sid Mackey. Ohio State has the ball at their own 14-yard line.
Wow, what a play. Ohio State defense stepping it up there, shutting down the weird named receivers of Wisconsin.
And that's the end of the first quarter. It's actually scoreless.
Ooh, interesting. Got a soccer game going on here.
Yeah, less scoring than Germany-Brazil. But now with 12:07 in the second quarter, Ohio State now has the ball on Wisconsin's 7-yard line, and they're knocking on the door. Buckeyes line up in pistol formation, Barry to the left of Kotar. Kotar takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Barry, and then takes it up the middle himself, and he is in for the touchdown. Aaron Kotar went straight through the middle of the defense, untouched for the touchdown. Buckeyes
Classic
lead
Kotar.
7-0 with 12:07 remaining in the half.
Classic Aaron Kotar. He does that every game almost. See that a lot from Ohio State.
Yep.
Not surprised at all.
And now with 3:34 left in the half, Ohio State is facing 3rd and goal from the 22-yard line after a holding call. The Buckeyes line up in their pistol formation again with 4 wide, Barry still beside Kotar in shotgun. Now Barry goes in motion and lines up inside of Mike Triplett on the left of the formation. Kotar calls for the snap play call at 2, but they get the snap off. Kotar looks to his right, but nothing is there. He's feeling the pressure. He spins out back to his left. He looks for his top target, Triplett, who's calling for the ball. He throws it up, and Triplett comes down with the pass. Kotar put it in the perfect spot where only his wide receiver can get it, and Triplett turns it into 6 points. With the extra point, Ohio State leads 14-0. That is your halftime score.
Wow. Ohio State just giving it to Wisconsin right now. And I can't say I'm really surprised. I mean, I picked Wisconsin, but yeah, that's...
And with that, we're moving on to the second half. The score is still 14-0. Wisconsin has the ball on Ohio State's 19-yard line, 4th and 4. Coach Taffiona is debating whether or not to go for it, and he sends the field goal unit out. The Gophers line up for the kick, and Frank McFarland to take it. The snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it's good. The Gophers get on the board. The score is now 14-3, Ohio State.
Gophers?
The Badgers.
Yeah.
But the Badgers on the board. The score is 14-3, Ohio State, with 11:17 left in the third quarter.
Yeah, I'm sure the Badgers are happy to get some points on the board there. They really need to get back in this game.
Yeah, my bad. Ohio State now knocking on the door again. They have the ball 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. They line up in I formation with Kotar under center. Kotar takes the snap and hands the ball to his fullback, Chaffee, for the quick dive, and Chaffee powers into the pile. He gets brought down, but it looks like he broke the plane. The refs are sorting out the pile, and they call touchdown. He's in. Tony Chaffee scores a touchdown for the Buckeyes on a fullback drive, and the score is now 21-3, Ohio State.
Ooh, this is tough for Wisconsin. They need to get back in the game right here. They need a good drive downfield right now, or else.
And Wisconsin is looking to make something happen. They're in their own territory, ball on the 25, 3rd and 8. They line up with 5 wide, Wiegert and shotgun. Wiegert takes a snap, punt fakes to his right, and looks to his left. He sees Tomczak on the post, sets his feet and throws the ball. But Hotchkiss is in great coverage and bats the ball up in the air. Both he and Tomczak fall to the ground and the pass is incomplete. But wait a second, Hotchkiss is saying he caught the ball, and the ref agrees. Ohio State ball. Hotchkiss hit the ball up in the air, fell to the ground, and the ball landed on his chest. He got the luckiest bounce, and now Ohio State has the ball at their own 45 with 12 seconds left in the third quarter.
Unfortunate for Wisconsin, and that is not going to help them get back in the game.
Not at all. Ohio State now sitting on the Wisconsin 4-yard line trying to convert Hotchkiss' interception into points. The Buckeyes line up in their base pistol formation with Barry and Kotar in the backfield. Triplett and White split out left, and Ryan Mitchell tied to the right. Ball is snapped. Kotar fakes the handoff to Barry, turns to his right, and delivers a strike to Mitchell. Touchdown, The Ohio State University. The score is now 28 Ohio State, 3 Wisconsin. With 13:46 left in the fourth, the Badgers still have time to mount a comeback, but it's looking bleaker and bleaker.
Wow. I bet Coach Dean Craig Pelton's happy now after that loss to Michigan. He's just really giving it to Wisconsin. And seriously, what's up with some of these players' names? Did the Big Ten start recruiting in Europe?
It seems some Scandinavians have made their way into the Big Ten.
It seems so.
And now, after the kickoff, Wisconsin gets a good return, and with 11:03 on the clock, the Gophers are now on Ohio State's 6-yard line and threatening their first touchdown of the game. Wiegert under center with pass behind him. Tomczak split out left. Wiegert takes a snap, looks to his left, and gives the ball to pass on the draw. Pass takes it to the outside. He's racing to the corner of the end zone with one man to beat, and he gets to the sideline. Pass stretches the ball over the goal line for a Wisconsin touchdown. Their first touchdown of the night comes with 11 minutes to go in the game. They elect not to go for 2, and the extra point is good to make the score 28-10 Ohio State. Wisconsin needs a few more drives to get back in it. They're not completely out of it yet, but even with that touchdown, it's looking rough for the Badgers.
So wait, do the Badgers have a wide receiver with the last name Pass?
That's his running back.
Oh, he should have been a quarterback. His last name's
But
one opportunity.
disappointingly for the Gophers, that is your final score.
Badgers. They're the
The
Badgers.
Badgers, my bad. I have it written down as Gophers. Ohio State 28, Wisconsin 10. That is your final score. Your Big Ten champions, Ohio State. Aaron Kotar is your player of the game with passing 15 of 22 for 176 yards, 2 touchdowns passing. Rushing, he had 6 rushes for 49 yards and a touchdown.
Blackhawk Jayhawk.
Well, we're coming on to that. What's your reaction to the game?
What's my reaction to the game? Fuck yeah. Go Buckeyes!
And that's all we need.
Yeah. Okay, you can stop. You can stop getting off now.
Good game.
Sweet.
But,
All right.
well, that reaction, I can get Dean back in the booth.
Yep.
Okay,
Sorry.
hold on. Let me mute my mic.
Apologize for my antics.
Because we are now heading into the Big 12 championship game. Oh, and here's our pregame flyover. Well, we're just getting ready to start. And kicked off, and 9 minutes into the first quarter, the Jayhawks are threatening to strike first with the ball on the Baylor 8-yard line. Christopher Brooks in shotgun with James Otero behind him in the backfield. Jayhawks have twin split right. Brooks takes a snap and gives it to Otero, who takes off to the left side, down to the 5, powering through a tackle to the 3-2-1 touchdown, James Otero. He had 4 Baylor players trying to bring him down, but nobody was standing between him and the end zone. And Kansas leads Baylor 7-0 with 6 minutes left in the first quarter.
And that is why he is a Heisman favorite. You gotta love Otero. He is just a beast out there.
And Kansas now looking for their second score of the game, first and goal from the Baylor 4-yard line. Otero goes in motion and line split up left. Richard Zimmerman comes into the backfield with Brooks. Brooks takes the snap and looks to throw. He rolls out to his left and turns back right. The defense forgot about Zimmerman. Brooks makes the easy pass to Zimmerman for the touchdown. Brooks rolled to his left, Zimmerman went to the right, and he was wide open, and Kansas now leads 14-0.
That's a great start for Kansas, but I still like Baylor to come back in this one.
All right. Baylor backed up in their own territory now, ball on their own 5. Joshua Andrews has yet to get on track for the Bears. Baylor goes 5 wide, trying to make something happen. First and 10, Andrews in shotgun takes a snap, looks to his left, sets his feet, and gets hit when he throws. The ball floats up, and Juwan Stewart is easily able to come down with it for the Jayhawks. And Kansas is in great position with 13:39 left in the half. They have the ball on Baylor's 4-yard line.
Okay, maybe I was wrong.
And Kansas offense is now coming on to try and convert Stewart's interception into points. Brooks lines up under center for the Jayhawks, Otero behind him. Brooks takes the snap and tosses it to Otero on his right. Otero looking to make something happen on the sweep, but it looks like he'll be met with a wall of Baylor defenders. Now Otero is trying to reverse field, and he breaks tackle. He's got blockers. Oh, Brooks with a punishing block, and Otero takes it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas. The Jayhawks are now up 21-0, and Baylor fans are stunned.
This is starting to feel like the Germany-Brazil game.
Ooh.
You gotta say Baylor's looking like absolute garbage out there. Kansas is just steamrolling them.
Baylor now has the ball 4th and 14 from the Kansas 28, and it looks like Tabor is sending out the kicking unit just trying to get on the board. Ronald Daniel to take the kick. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it is good. Baylor gets on the board. The score is now 21-3 Kansas.
That 3 points is really going to make an impact on this game.
Baylor now has the ball 3rd and 7 from the Kansas 49, 7:24 left on the clock. Baylor stays in their base 4 wide set. Andrews in shotgun. He takes a snap. Looks to his left. He pump fakes, and then he throws across the middle to McFadden, who gets rocked by Medina. The ball is up in the air, and Stacy Green makes the diving grab for the interception. Kansas ball at midfield.
Great play by the Jayhawks there. They really rocked him.
Yep. And Kansas trying to extend their lead now. They're attempting a 48-yard field goal. Christopher Massey comes out to take the kick. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, but it is no good. He hooked it to the left, and Baylor breathes a sigh of release as the score remains 21-3 with 6:12 left in the half.
Now, it has been noted that Kansas did lead 21-3 against Baylor the last time, so we'll see if it ends similarly.
Well, Baylor's now knocking on the door for their first touchdown of the game with 43 seconds left in the half. They have the ball second and goal from the 7-yard line. Baylor in a 3-wide set. Arthur Thomas split to the left. Fonout, I can't pronounce his running back's name, in the backfield. Andrews takes the snap and drops back, faking the handoff. He lobs the ball up to Thomas in the back of the end zone, but Medina goes over him and picks it off. That is Andrews' third interception of the game, and it kills Baylor's chances at points before the half with only 43 seconds left on the clock. And that is your halftime score, Kansas 21, Baylor 3.
I think there's a new INT Jesus, and his name is Joshua Andrews.
Well, we'll have to see, because Baylor has the ball to start the half, and they're looking to cut the lead again as attempting a 37-yard field goal with 12:12 left in the third. Daniel coming out to take the kick. He hit from 45 earlier today. Snap good, hold good, kick is up, and it splits the uprights. Baylor puts 3 more points on the board just trying to find any offense. 21-6 Kansas is your score.
They're really going to have to find the end zone if they want to make this a game, which is very John Madden-like commentary, but still.
2:04 left on the clock now. Baylor has the ball on the Kansas 5. Oh, fuck, my bad. That's a play ahead. Kansas now with the ball on the Baylor's 8-yard line. Brooks in shotgun alone in the backfield. He takes the snap and looks to throw. Nobody open. He rolls to his right, and he's just going to take it himself. Touchdown, Kansas. Brooks didn't have anyone open, so he just took it himself into the end zone, and none of the Baylor defenders stepped up to stop him. Jayhawks pushed their lead to 28-6.
Oh, great job by Kansas. Great game plan by Storm Stopper. I love what they're doing out there right now.
That was with 6:21 left in the quarter, but that is the end of the third quarter. And we go into the fourth, and there is 2:04 left in the game.
Oh, no comeback.
Not much scoring left. Baylor has the ball on the Kansas 5, down 28-6. At this point, it may all be for pride. Baylor goes 5 wide, Andrews in shotgun. He takes the snap, looks to his left, and throws it to McFadden. But Medina picks it off. Andrews forces the throw in, and Medina picks him off. Andrews taking it the other way. He's to the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, but he is brought down at the 1-yard line.
Oh.
Joe Wallace ran across the field to catch Medina from behind at the 1-yard line, but he did enough. Kansas is in good position to put this thing away.
Wow, Medina, just a fantastic performance. Unbelievable job.
And the Jayhawks offense now comes out on the field. They line up in power formation, Otero in the backfield. Brooks takes the snap, hands it to Otero, who walks in for the easy touchdown. The Kansas offensive line just drove Baylor back 3 yards into the end zone, giving Otero his 3rd touchdown of the night, and Kansas a 35-6 lead. And that is your final score. Kansas defeats Baylor by a score of 35-6.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk playoff time. Unbelievable performance.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Medina had what, 3 interceptions?
Medina had 2 interceptions, and he knocked another one up into the air.
I was not listening.
He is your player of the game with 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Just beating out, and for stats, Joshua Andrews was 21 of 49 for 205 and 4 interceptions. My bad.
Yeah.
He did not throw a
Those were
touchdown.
not touchdowns.
Baylor did not get into the end zone all night. James Otero 16 for 99 and 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of offense by the Jayhawks, but not enough from Joshua Andrews.
Did Germany outscore Baylor?
Germany
Yes, they did.
did outscore Baylor.
Wow.
Wow, Kansas just made a great
That is
statement.
an impressive feat. And there is our flyover for the Pac-12 championship game that we're just about to get into.
Guess I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, you need to be coaching the game.
Yeah, you coaching. We'll see you later, Dream. Good luck in your game. And USC is now, after the game kicks off, USC is now looking to be the first team on the board after their first 2 drives stalled up around midfield. They have the ball second and goal from the Washington 5. Nate Craig lines up under center, Jerry Rambo in the backfield. USC is in a pro set. Craig takes the snap, gives it to Rambo, who barrels up the middle for a Trojans touchdown. USC takes a 7-0 lead with 3:39 remaining in the first.
Yeah, great play by Rambo there. He's a real stud of a running back in the future.
You have to make a first blood reference there. Hold on. I have to.
And USC strikes with the first blood of the night. Rambo with the blow. There we go.
Okay. And
The
Washington
coach just randomly got into our booth there. That was kind of weird.
Washington now trying to respond. They have the ball on USC's 11. Eric Sowell in the backfield with Sean Cole. Cole now goes in motion. Sowell takes a snap, looks to throw, pump fakes, and gives it to Cole, who comes behind Sowell on the reverse. Cole into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. The Huskies with some trickeration, and it pays off. Score is now tied 7-7. And that is your halftime score. USC 7, Washington 7.
That probably does not happen if the coach is not in the booth. I think USC shuts him down better.
Oh, we can go to the booth, but there wasn't much offense happening in this game. Just 2 touchdowns, and we are tied at halftime.
Yeah, good job by the Huskies.
With 7:03 left in the third quarter, USC is attempting a 35-yard field goal. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it is good. USC takes a 10-7 lead.
Mm-hmm.
But now Washington... Oh, go ahead.
That's fine. Not a lot of offense in this game. It's kind of boring, really.
And Washington is now trying to respond with a field goal of their own, 31 yards out, with 3:41 left in the third quarter. Snap is good, hold, kick up, and it is good as well. Washington ties it back up at 10.
This feels like a game of horse a bit. They just keep responding with the same thing.
Well, now it's Washington's turn to take the lead with another field goal. Lloyd Williams now attempting a 44-yarder, time nearly expiring off the clock in the quarter. 5-4-3, but they get the snap off. The kick is up and is good. Washington now leads USC 13-10 going into the fourth quarter.
USC always seems to do this. Let's see if they can pull this one out. They haven't lost yet this season.
Both teams with a touchdown in the game. Washington has a 3-point lead going into the fourth quarter. With 11:18 left in the game, USC now knocking on the Washington door. First and goal from the 6-yard line. USC lines up in a pro set, Rambo in the backfield, Craig under center. Craig takes a snap, drops back, sets his feet, and delivers a strike to Wes Thomas through 2 defenders. Touchdown USC, and they regain the lead. The score is now 17-13 USC.
Finally, some offense again. Woo! Great play there by Nate Craig. He seems to always step up. Even though he's not necessarily that great a quarterback, he's really proven himself to be capable of starting for USC.
And USC is now trying to push their lead. They have the ball 3rd and 2 from the Washington 21. Back to a pro set, Craig under center, Rambo in the backfield. Craig calls out the defense and takes a snap. He quickly hands it off to Rambo, who powers through the middle for the first down, and he is still on his feet, fighting for every yard, and he bursts free. Jerry Rambo, he'll take it into the end zone, touchdown USC, and the lead is now 11 with only 5:52 left on the clock. Washington will have to score quickly if they want any chance of getting back into this game.
USC looks like they will survive.
And USC has the ball 4th and 2 on Washington's 30. Dream thinks about it for a second, but then he decides to attempt the 47-yard field goal. Fred Irvin to take the kick. Play clock winding down, but they get the snap off, and the kick is no good. He hooked it to the left. The score is still 24-13, but with only 2:11 on the clock, Washington is all but out of it, and they are out of it. That is your final score, 24-13. USC finishes their undefeated season and takes down Washington.
Thank Christ.
I believe you mean thank A.J. Jefferson.
No. Obviously not after that performance that he put on.
But anyways, what's your reaction following the game?
USC's player of the game is
Rambo, right? It's got to be Rambo.
Rambo had 19 carries for 88 and 2 touchdowns, but let's give it to Lynn Burford, who had 2 sacks and 4 tackles for the Trojans.
Oh, yeah.
To shut down that Washington offense.
Lynn, I love you, baby.
They held Sowell to 6 completions for 6 of 13 for 69 yards and no touchdowns, no interceptions. There were no
69.
Very clean match.
Hmm.
Oh man, I'd like to
And
see that SEC championship game. Man,
Yeah.
that's what we're to next. That
can
is
I
our
be there?
last game of the night, the SEC championship game between the number 10 Georgia Bulldogs and the number 3 Alabama Crimson Tide. And we're just underway. We're heading between the slugfest between Alabama and Georgia. Alabama
Yeah.
has the ball 4th and 6 from Georgia's 16-yard line, and they elect to kick the field goal.
Hmm.
Ryan Levitt comes out to attempt the 33-yarder. Snap is good, hold good, kick is up, and it is also good. Levitt seems to stumble, but he nails the field goal. Alabama leads 3-0 with 7:01 left in the first quarter. And
Hmm.
that's your first quarter score, set 3-0 Alabama.
All right. So not really much to talk about here, but Bama off to a fairly decent start. There shouldn't be a lot of offense in this game, so if Bama gets another one or two scores, they should be fairly good.
Second quarter now, Georgia in position to tie the game up. They're sending Skip Gibson out to take a 41-yard field goal. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and wow, this kick is definitely good. That would have been good from 50. Georgia ties the game up at 3 with 9:54 left in the half.
Yeah. I
And
think
fast
Georgia's got a good shot at this if there's no punters taking the ball to the house.
forward, 119 left in the half now, dwindling moments of the first half. 4th and long for Alabama, ball on the 44, and it seems they'll be sending out the punt or field goal or the punting unit. Well, wait a second. They're sending Ryan Levick out to attempt the 58-yard field goal. I don't know if he has that range, but let's see. The snap is good and the hold is good, but the kick is well short. And
Yeah.
Al DeVito is back. He's going to return it. He takes it out to
Oh,
the 10, the 20, the 30. He could break free. Oh, but he steps out at the 43-yard line.
that was
Georgia,
almost such a Bama moment.
but there's only a minute left in the half. And that's your halftime score, 3-3.
Wow. Bama should know not to take kicks from that long.
Uh, what's your halftime analysis?
Um, I mean, there's not really a lot to write home about here. It's a 3-3 game. But I think Georgia's done well. So has Bama, obviously. I mean, it's a tied game. You can't really say either side has done poorly. I think we'll see Georgia come out, maybe get a touchdown to win the game. I don't think it's going to take a lot to win this game.
Well, we'll see how Georgia responds, but the game is currently tied at 3. On to the third quarter now. Georgia has the ball at the Alabama 7, trying to score the first touchdown of the game. Armour under center, Houghton in the backfield. Armour calls the play, yells inaudible. Houghton steps to his left, and Armour drops in the shotgun. Armour takes a snap, looks to throw, and he hands it to Houghton on the draw. Houghton takes it up the middle for a touchdown. He went through the line untouched. The entire Alabama defense bit on that pass fake except for Tunch Richardson. But one move by Houghton, and he was in the end zone, and Georgia leads 10-3.
That might be enough to win this one.
Well, we'll have to see now because Alabama's looking to tie up the game with 2:45 left in the third quarter. The Crimson Tide lines up in a pro set with the ball on the Georgia 9-yard line. McCready in shotgun. He takes a snap, pump fakes to his left, right, and fires the ball across the middle to Ricky Chambers for the touchdown. Right across the middle, McCready finds his man, and the Tide ties it up at 10.
All right, now who's going to get the game-winning field goal here?
In the fourth quarter now, 8 minutes left on the clock. Alabama has the ball 4th and goal from the Georgia 22-yard line. They're sending Ryan Levchik out for the field goal. He's one of 2 on the day with a 58-yard miss and a 33-yard make. This one will be from 39.
You can't miss this.
Levchik lines up the kick. Snap is good. Hold is up. Kick is good. Alabama takes a 13-10 lead with just 8 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, I think Georgia can definitely get a score here, but I don't know if they will or not. Bama's defense has been strong all night.
Well, Georgia now has the ball at the Alabama 43, 4th and 4 with 1:34 left on the clock. Georgia without any timeouts, but the clock is stopped. Coach Franz Kafka debating whether or not to send the field goal unit out. It would be a 60-yarder from this difference.
Oh,
That would be a record setter for CFBHC. Kafka decides to leave the offense on the field, though, and this could be the last play for the Bulldogs. Armour and shotgun, Georgia goes 5 wide. Armour takes a snap looking for a man. He feels pressure from Tunch Richardson. Armour somehow escapes. He sets his feet and throws to Al DeVito at the 25-yard line. DeVito goes over the Alabama quarterback to keep the drive alive. But wait a second. The ref says that DeVito landed out of bounds, and it is an incomplete pass. Alabama's ball, DeVito's heel landed on the line, and Alabama will win the SEC championship. A total heartbreaker for the Bulldogs, but Alabama now looks poised to represent the SEC in the CFBHC playoffs.
God, that's another heartbreaker there for good old Franz Kafka. Just sucks to see that happen to him again.
Team Chaos did not succeed.
Well, one of us did.
Yeah. There was very little chaos.
Last game of the night. What do y'all think?
Well, when you look at who's going to be in the playoffs now, it's going to be very interesting because you have two undefeated teams. I'm pretty sure both Boise and my own team, USC, are going to be.
Then you have Bama with the third slot. And then it's between.
It's really up in the air.
What about the Jayhawks, who had an impressive performance today?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think it goes down to Bama's definitely got the third slot. That shouldn't even be.
Yeah, Bama definitely has a shot.
In doubt. That's not in doubt. The question really is, do you give it to FSU or do you give it to Kansas?
I think they're the two teams who are competing for it. Or even Michigan State might have an argument.
Yeah, I think Michigan State does have an argument. I mean, they did lose. But then again, if you're saying Michigan State should be in, Ohio State beat Michigan State.
Yeah,
don't No, I know. What I'm saying is I don't think you can say Michigan State can be in there. I do think Michigan State does deserve a shot at an Access Bowl, though, with an at-large bid.
Real quickly, let's go over the stats from the Georgia-Alabama game. Sam Armour was 14 of 28 for 155 on the night. McCready, 13 of 22 for 145 and a touchdown. Bobby Gibbon for Bama was 17 for 104, no touchdowns. Houghton for Georgia was 13 for 71 and a touchdown. But the player of the game is Tunch Richardson with 1 sack and 14 tackles for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, great performance from him.
He showed up today, and he will send this Bama team home with a win.
Yeah. Now I'm just trying to think who you're going to put in the playoffs because it's a tough decision. I don't know if I could say put FSU in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Who do you take, FSU or Kansas? I don't think you can put MSU in Michigan State because they didn't win their conference.
Yeah, when you have two teams that did win their conference championship, have technically a better record, maybe not a better resume per se, but
So those are the last two slots, and we're done with the games, but we can spend some time talking about them.
Yeah. I mean, not really a lot of close games besides the SEC championship game. When it came down to it all, it kind of just got carried away a bit at the end. That was surprising me. I expected a lot more close games. And I definitely didn't expect the AAC game to be one of the closer ones. Like, I didn't expect Kansas and Ohio State even to rout the teams like they did.
Those were some very interesting performances. Yeah. What about Boise State, though? Because they didn't.
See, now here's the thing, because it's almost hard to say that Boise State without Brian Brown should be a playoff team. I think you have to give them a playoff spot.
Yeah, you can't deny
because they are undefeated. But man, I just don't think they can go much further than that first round. Whereas other teams may be able to beat certain teams, but they didn't have a good enough season to make it. Unfortunately for them.
So is Boise going to go into the playoffs with the 1 seed?
I think they have to. Just because, I mean, it's not like USC gave a not dominating enough performance either. They only won by 11 points, I believe. So, I mean, that's not necessarily that impressive either. When you look at the two undefeated teams, it seems like they both have a good shot at losing their game, to me. It seems like the other teams have looked a lot more dominant and look maybe better than Boise and USC.
Yeah. Those teams, though, you can't deny them. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have won every game, but they've looked a lot weaker than these other teams coming on towards the end of the season.
Hey, you know who USC beat? Michigan.
Well, you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about Ohio State going to the playoffs. They're
Yeah. They screwed that game up with the blocked field goal late in the game, unfortunately.
that would
So
have been
if
sorry.
Ohio State wins that game, I think they're the other team in the
Oh, they're
playoffs.
definitely in.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
unfortunately,
our only other loss was to Bama, so.
But Ohio State now, they're going to an Access Bowl, but
Yeah, we're going
Rose
to
Wisconsin
Rose
Bowl.
Bowl.
might be
Rose Bowl against Washington, I believe.
Rose Bowl against Washington.
So that
That's,
shouldn't be close. That
I
game
don't
ended
know.
42-17 earlier in the season, I believe.
Um,
Yeah, but you already beat them.
Yeah, and it wasn't close.
Well, we'll see because Washington's stepping up. They played USC. They were leading going into the fourth quarter. That was a
Yeah,
close
that's true.
game.
That's true.
yeah, and I think I played them a little better than I did in the time before than I did that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to point out your prediction for the Boise State ECU game was 1 point off.
Yeah, I know. I remember right after you said that score, I was like, "Damn, I was close." Because I predicted 35-24, right?
Yep.
And it was 34-24. Yeah, so close, but no cigar.
ECU, I think out of all these teams, ECU might have been the most impressive. They went up 14-0 and then 21-7 with
Yeah.
the 100-yard kickoff return for touchdown, but they just couldn't keep it up. Poor Kansas. Medina with the game of his life, just terrorizing Joshua Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How? What? How, what year is he? Is he a
Joshua
senior?
Andrews? Or Medina?
No, Medina.
Medina, I think, is a senior. He might be a junior.
Okay.
But he's a 4.5 strong safety
Yeah.
who had a punishing tackle.
I don't think he
Yeah.
was on many people's. I'm not sure if he was on most people's radar, but now
Yeah.
he definitely probably is.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he most definitely is after that performance.
So, what was your? Both of you make your game of the week. What was the
Like,
best game of the?
Best game of the week. I think it has to be the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, when it came down to it, that was the best ending.
Yeah.
In terms of enjoyment listening to it, I think the Ohio State Wisconsin game was very enjoyable.
I think because I was the play-by-play. I mean, not the color commentator. I think. I think I did a good job there. Better than Dean. and his
Also,
other
the Boise State ECU game was another great game to listen to.
Oh yeah, because you're getting your hopes up, and then like off
Yeah,
ECU as well.
that kind of set the tone for the night, where you were just going to be disappointed if you were hoping for chaos.
Yeah.
Dontrell Jackson might be the player of the week between all of these teams.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he definitely stepped up. I mean, when
Yeah.
you're looking at, he wasn't playing Georgia or one of a team
No,
of that
but
caliber.
without him, ECU might win this game.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely can't disagree
He
with
had
you.
more rushing yards than Boise State. Than Bowers had passing yards. I think that might be a first for Boise State to outrush their passing offense.
yeah. And I will say this: I'm still a little mad Aaron Kotar was nominated for the Heisman.
Kotar, another great game.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been nominated for National Player of the Week 5 times.
Won it a few times too.
Yeah, he won it twice. And he was tied for the vote third time, and then Discreto Burrito just said, you know what, I'm making my own pick here.
Yeah. And what happened with your defense? Because Wisconsin has a great
Yeah,
offense.
here's
but
what I did. I went full-on aggressive because I really, for some reason, I had it set in my mind I wanted to take out Eric Wiegert. I don't think I did that at all.
No,
But
there were no injuries.
my aggression was good, and my defense just stepped up this week, and it was great to see.
Uh,
So yeah, the pipe didn't strike during the conference.
the pipe did not strike.
Thank God.
Uh, yeah,
Kotar's ACL survives until
Again, Rose Bowl.
until the Rose Bowl
Yeah.
when you have Washington. So we know three of the teams for the playoffs. What are the
Yeah.
access bowls looking like then?
Okay, so you basically, for the Rose Bowl, you have Ohio State, Washington.
Unless USC somehow misses the playoffs.
Oh, that's not happening. Unless someone just goes, you know what, fuck USC, and then they just drop
Saloon.
out of the. Unless Sophos drop. Oh yeah, Saloon decides all of it, doesn't he?
Saloon
Yeah.
is not. So it's Saloon's decision. I'm pretty sure he'll put USC
USC
in.
in. Yeah.
and Boise State. I see it as this. It's gonna be Boise State, USC, Bama, FSU.
Those are going
Now,
to be great games.
see, now I don't think you put FSU in the playoffs, and this is my personal opinion. They don't have they don't really have a great win.
What about
I mean,
who
arguably
else would
Kansas
you put-
doesn't either.
Who else would you put in there?
Kansas.
What's Kansas' great win?
Okay, it's the same as FSU's Oklahoma.
Exactly.
But Kansas's loss isn't as bad, and they just redeemed themselves. Kansas basically won that Baylor game if it hadn't been for like a failed 2-point conversion. I mean, they were in that game that entire time. We look at the FSU Mississippi State game. That's a horrible loss.
Yeah.
And
But
when you
that
can't
is
compare
a big
victories, you can't compare victories.
Yeah.
So because it's the same best win, you got to go to losses, and Kansas is by far a better loss than.
FSU has been dominant in some games. They've just run over teams that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
so
but-
is Kansas.
And FSU played like what? Georgia State one week.
Yeah, I mean, FSU's schedule is one of the worst, I believe, in this thing. If you look at the SOS, it's just not great at all. I think it's like in the 60s. I'm not sure what
Mine
Kansas
is
is off the top of
also-
my head.
Kansas did manage to skate out of the Big 12 schedule without having to play Texas or I think Texas Tech.
Yeah, but Texas Tech is not one of the better teams.
No,
Hey.
but
That's just the team you lost to.
yeah. They didn't have to play Texas. They got Baylor twice.
Yeah.
Took care of them. They played TCU, obviously.
And they
Yeah.
almost lost.
They did almost lose that game. Which is another question. Because Kansas had a few of those little scares.
Yeah, but you had those games where you'd randomly show up and be one of the more dominant teams. But
All four of them.
A
Yeah.
victory is a victory. In my book, that's kind of how I look at it.
So, in your vote, you have Kansas in the playoffs?
I think I'd stick with Florida State, but
okay, Florida State has the 73rd ranked strength of schedule. Kansas is the 66th. So I guess it's not that much better, but it's still better.
wait, okay, where's Bama?
Bama,
Yeah,
they are. Alabama. Hold on. Gotta find them. Just keep talking. I'll tell you when I find it.
okay, because the reason
They're
I
second.
they're second.
32nd. And then
Okay.
Ohio State's is number 1. So just saying, guys.
Okay, because you look at USC and Boise State; they're around in the same range as Kansas and FSU.
Yeah.
So, if strength of schedule is any indicator, Bama seems to have one of the better chances to come out and win it all.
Yeah. That's agreeable. I mean, I think if it's FSU and Bama, they are the two favorites to win it all. I believe that's going to wind up being your championship game, just because the way Boise State's played without the way Boise State played without Brian Brown was just horrendous. And when you're actually going up against a good team, it's not going to end well. That's not like ECU, who's just a fairly decent team at best. When you go up against a great team, you can't have Steve Bowers at quarterback. It's just not going to end well for you. And then you look at USC. They played every game close, and they still haven't really played anyone. I don't even know their best win. I guess it might be Michigan. I can't think of another game off the top of my head.
Yeah. Ooh. I think
So
Florida State sneaks in and they're sent to playoffs. The
yeah.
Kansas might be just as deserving.
See, the only team you're gonna have with an even remotely decent strength of schedule is gonna be Bama in the playoffs, and
They're,
that says something to me.
they're definitely in.
Yeah.
One loss being to LSU, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. That's right.
If Wisconsin wins the Big Ten championship game, does that put them into the playoffs? Because they would have been 5-1 versus teams in the top 25, I believe. I'm remembering a number that Taffy stated previously.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, because I mean they have the 13th SOS. I should stop saying SOS. Strength of schedule. Um, so that's definitely better than anything you look at for the other one-loss teams. You can't say, and they'd be conference champions, so you can't not put Wisconsin there had they won that game, but they didn't, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
End of discussion. Now I will say this: Michigan State does have the 15th ranked strength schedule. I have to make the case for Michigan State over Wisconsin because I believe it should be made. Because I am a firm believer in this. Michigan State played me better than Wisconsin did, and that's their one loss. I believe Michigan State is fully worthy of an Access Bowl, and I don't think they should be denied that just for playing in my division of the Big Ten. Because while I did lose to Michigan, I feel like that was kind of a fluke game. I was kind of careless in my game plan. Um,
But you still lost.
yeah, I know. I'm not defending. I'm just saying. I think 9 times out of 10, I should have won that game. Because Tommy Jones doesn't usually play like that. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I didn't really go into it that much. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. I do think Michigan State is more worthy of Wisconsin for a Access Bowl because Michigan State didn't lose to Iowa. They didn't lose another game. They're not a two-loss team. Wisconsin's a two-loss team, and yeah, it's because they played another game. But
Yeah,
I think if you have Michigan State play Iowa, Michigan State wins that game.
I think if you have Wisconsin play Iowa again, Wisconsin wins that game.
Yeah, I think that might have been their 9 times out of 10 game. I mean, if you can make a bullshit excuse, I'm sure Taffy can too. And Wisconsin beat 4 teams in the top 25. I'm pretty sure Slinky didn't do that same thing.
He beat 5 teams in the top 25.
Oh.
Both teams have impressive schedules, but Wisconsin won their division. And like I said, they shouldn't be punished for having played an extra game. They beat.
Yeah, but then you're just punishing Michigan State for playing in the division of the team that beat Wisconsin badly.
They beat Michigan State. They both lost. But Ohio State's out for different reasons because they couldn't beat Michigan.
Exactly, but that's not the debate here. What I'm saying is Michigan State does deserve an Access Bowl.
I think you should judge based on before the conference championship games because
Okay, Michigan State still deserves an Access Bowl.
you still think before the conference championship games.
All right, well, hear me out here. Michigan State beat 5 top 25 teams. They were 5-1 against top 25 teams. Their lone loss was to Ohio State. Wisconsin's lone loss was to Iowa. That's not as impressive as losing to Ohio State. Okay.
But look at Wisconsin's wins, though. Both are impressive, but Wisconsin. I'm gonna look that up.
They
real quick.
beat Nebraska, who lost their last 3
They both
games, didn't they?
both Michigan State and Wisconsin beat Nebraska.
Exactly.
Wisconsin also beat Minnesota, Northwestern. Even though Northwestern didn't have a coach,
Yeah.
Northwestern was beating every.
Yeah,
was
Northwestern was different with a coach than without a coach, I believe, because I think they did get a coach.
Yeah, they were good either way. They beat Baylor, and I think those are their big wins. But they did lose to Iowa. Let's see Michigan State now. Michigan State Spartans. I'm on the wiki.
If I'm correct, they beat 5 top
Michigan
25
State
teams.
beat Nebraska, and Penn State and Notre Dame are their big wins.
And they also beat Michigan.
They beat Michigan, but a lot of people were beating Michigan except for you.
Well,
Michigan State's 6-6, so you can say that's a good win, but it's just a bad loss for you.
Oh yeah, I understand that. I mean,
Not a big.
Michigan's still not that bad a loss. I mean, it was again, it was a close game. I lost by a field goal that was blocked.
Yeah. No, I'm not
And it was
saying.
Tommy Jones stepped up. I mean, it's not a bad loss for Ohio State. Does it look kind of bad if you just look at the team, the way they played the rest of the season? Yeah, but it was kind of a fluke loss in a sense.
Yeah. So we're gonna see what happens. I still think Wisconsin deserves the bid, but it could go either way.
Yeah,
Is there still an at-large bid?
Yeah,
yeah,
large.
that's what I'm saying.
That's
The at-large bids basically it's between Michigan State,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Ole Miss, I believe.
Well, the show is tomorrow, so we'll get to see the final rankings there.
Yeah,
Tune into that, everyone. Tomorrow night at 10 or 11 is what Luna said.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And do we have anything else to talk about? Because that was a
Um,
good show, y'all.
yeah, I think we should also. I think we do need to discuss more in depth. Maybe who's our pick for that fourth playoff spot? Who's each of our picks?
Florida State. I
Yeah,
want Kansas so bad. I think Kansas deserves it, but I think Florida State will get it.
I'm,
But
I'm
who do you think deserves it is the question. It's not who do you think gets it. Who do you think
I
deserves it?
want Kansas State and I want Kansas in there. I want to see the Big 12 represented, but I think Florida State's probably the better team, and I think they're going to get it.
yeah, I agree with Danger.
But see, to me, I don't think Florida State's shown they're the better team. I think Kansas played very well against teams, and I think they are more deserving of FSU because FSU. Yeah, I mean that was a horrible definition of what's been going on Kansas this season, but I think Kansas is a lot more worthy of that final slot than Florida State is,
I think
just by looking at the schedule.
I think you might feel that way because you didn't expect Kansas to be here at the beginning of the season, and you kind of expect Florida State to be here, and Florida State probably does actually deserve to be here more than Kansas
I don't think
does.
I don't think a team that lost to Mississippi State deserves to be here.
I don't know because if you take that loss and you say it's a 1 in 100 loss,
Yeah, but they
I don't.
still lost that
I
game.
know they still lost it, but
That,
at some
that
point you gotta say they have that loss. Kansas has their loss to Baylor, and while the loss to Baylor isn't as bad, I think Florida State's looked really impressive in some of their wins where they just roll over teams. Kansas
Yeah,
just rolled over Baylor, but it's not in the same way. Here, I'm going to look up some of Florida State's wins.
and also do that for
Florida State
Kansas.
beat Florida in triple overtime, but they beat Wake Forest 38-0, beat Clemson
yeah, but
49-21,
these teams
beat
they're beating
Miami.
aren't good. That good. These
Clemson's
teams,
a good team, especially with the coach. They beat Miami 38-7.
yeah,
They beat Georgia State 63-0. So, and Hawaii 66-0. But those are just running up the scores. And they beat Oklahoma by 11. And Kansas actually beat them by 14.
yeah,
So, and Kansas has been beating teams solidly. They beat Kansas State by 20, just rolled over Baylor. Beat Iowa State by 18, Tech by 8, Navy by 42. West Virginia took them to overtime though.
yeah.
So
But I mean, West Virginia is one of those sneaky good teams.
I think both teams have their good wins and their bad,
Yeah,
and both teams have a blemish on their record. And at that point, I think it just comes down to who's a better team, and I think that's Florida State.
I don't think it is. I think Kansas may be the better team. They've just looked better to me.
I mean, Florida State definitely has the bigger blemish,
Yeah, that's true.
but still, Florida State. I mean, when you look at the ratings that you see early on in the year, Florida State was definitely probably the better team than Kansas.
Florida
Nobody.
State was
Yeah,
always
but see, it shouldn't be going down to team ratings. You should actually look at the performance throughout the season. Florida
yeah.
State nearly lost to NC State. They nearly lost to Syracuse.
I mean,
I mean,
Kansas
they've
nearly
lost to
lost to
Mississippi State.
TCU. They nearly lost
But look at the
to
teams TCU's
West
beaten.
Virginia.
I mean, It's not
Look
TCU
at,
played nearly everyone close except
but you
for
can also look
Texas
at the
Tech.
teams that TCU lost to. I
Oh, I
mean,
got my ass kicked a few times. Let's not go
Yeah.
into that.
yeah,
It's Kansas's close game against me is not a good game. I mean, I like to say that I could play him close, but it's not a good.
See, for some reason, TCU always seemed to show up against good teams. I don't know what it was. It
Maybe, but
happened.
that's still not a great argument because TC wasn't very good this year.
I mean, you look at the way they played against Nebraska, that was a 10-point game. You look at the way they played against Oklahoma, I mean, that was a 21-point game. That's not bad. They beat Texas. They beat Baylor. Um, and that says something to me. I mean, yeah, TCU's not great, but they still had that unpredictability to them where they would always show up certain weeks. They're a spotty team, but when they were on it, they were on it.
Maybe, and but that still has to be somewhat of a blemish on Kansas's record, but not a huge one. It's still a win, and you can't count someone off for a win. But it's a game where they didn't necessarily show up and beat a team that they were better than. Just
But
beat them
again,
down. Won the game though.
to me, Kansas, their loss was in triple overtime. They lost because of a 2-point conversion
To a good team, and they just
to a
made
top
up.
25 team. And then you look at Florida State. They lost at home to Mississippi State.
And that
And
is
yeah, Justin Hunter stepped up, and maybe that's like the Tommy Jones performance. You could say that's very similar to the Ohio State loss. But Mississippi State, since that game's been horrible, and maybe it's because Hyder is gone. But that game still, I mean, even with Hyder, they still didn't look that great most of the time.
well, it's going to be interesting to see because
those two
Saluna
teams
makes
definitely
this.
have an argument.
So, the award show tomorrow is going to be very, very
Interesting.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Storm's gonna be
Because
sweating
of this-
bullets.
That last spot in the playoffs is going to be Florida State or Kansas, and you could do a coin flip and guess because I have no clue who it's going to be.
Yeah. And I mean, Kansas was basically Georgia first down away from being here, maybe. So, I mean,
Kansas, if they had beaten Baylor in the regular season, they'd be undefeated right now.
yeah.
And we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be debating Alabama versus Florida State, and
Alabama would
Alabama.
win that argument. Either.
We'd be set, but we're not. And the playoff Jayhawk is going to need some help from Saluna.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd love
Watch
to.
Watch it randomly wind up being Ohio State for some reason.
Yep.
No, Saluna hates it.
Yeah, I know. I don't expect that to happen at all.
It also brings up an interesting point. The Big Ten all year has been called the best conference, and
Yeah.
by rankings they kind of are, but they're not sending a team to the playoffs this year.
Yeah. Which kind of sucks because if you think about it, we kind of just messed each other up because I messed up Slinky's chances. Sophos messed up my chances. I messed up Taffy's chances. Basically,
And
if some
everyone.
of us just would have rolled over and died, we'd be easily. I think the Big Ten probably has the best teams and could win the playoffs. But unfortunately, we beat each other up.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are gonna do good in your bowls, but
Yeah. Oh, I think we'll do ridiculous. I mean, look at the matchup for at least my game. I'm playing Washington, a team I destroyed in the regular season. And then if Slinky doesn't get into an Access Bowl, he's probably going to demolish whatever team he faces. Unless it winds up being Notre Dame, that'd probably be another close game. I think they played earlier, and that was close. I don't really know how that's going to work out. I haven't really looked at the tie-ins that much since I just assumed I was going to be in the playoffs or an Access Bowl this whole time.
Yeah, but he's still in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have Michigan. If they can get a bowl, that'll be interesting to see what happens there. They definitely wanted that game pretty badly because they definitely needed it to get into a bowl
yeah, definitely.
against me. So
If you look at the two conferences that have undefeated teams, like if you look on early in the year, the AAC, I'm pretty sure at one point, Boise was one of the only teams with a team over 500.
yeah, and then the Pac was damn abysmal too. I mean, it was just bad. They don't have another team that has a better record than 7-5, I believe.
Yeah, I think No one besides USC is great in the pack. The Big
Yeah.
12 is an okay conference. The SEC is strong. The Big is obviously the strongest.
It kind of makes me wonder if you have USC or Boise in another conference, do they lose 1 or 2 games?
I think they do, just having to play the whole season.
Like if
But
Boise stayed in the Big 12.
I don't know about the Big 12. I think Kansas would play them tough. I
Yeah.
think if they had to play Oklahoma, it'd be a tough game. I think Texas right now is red hot. And I
Yeah.
think if they played Boise, it'd be a close game. I think Boise has the edge on all of those teams.
TCU injures Brian Brown and wins the game.
I beat Boise State last year, but well, I did. TCU beat Boise State last year, but they were in the Big 12. I think in the SEC, they obviously beat LSU already. I think Bama would be a tough game. I think they have the edge on almost any team if Brian Brown is playing, but I think the numbers will just add up and they'd lose one eventually.
hmm Now, Dream, who do you want to face in the playoffs? Since we're basically saying you get there, you have the choice between Bama, FSU, and Kansas, I guess. Actually, you're basically getting Bama, but
Yeah,
Or Boise.
pretty much I have to face Bama. Well, if I have
Yeah,
the choice of Boise, I'd probably take Boise.
Let's do
Oh, yeah.
playoff. Let's do some playoff predictions. Let's do it twice. Once
Okay.
if Florida State gets in, and once if Bama gets in.
or
So in
Kansas.
Florida State, you'd have Boise probably still sitting at number 1 versus Florida State and Bama versus USC. Who do you have? Boise, Florida State.
Florida State easily.
I think Florida State takes this one.
Because
Yeah, but
I can't see Boise State winning without a quarterback.
yeah, I can't see that happening either. Against a good team, it's just not going to happen. They have the Mississippi State chance at one.
Yeah, Boise State still. Maybe they're on a scheme change to get John Terrell Jackson more carries, which is
but
probably their best shot. But
I don't think they did when you saw.
But we're going to see how it works out because Bowers might not be able to carry the load, and they don't give it to John Terrell Jackson enough. Florida State will just run through them.
Yeah, and Florida State.
Even because I think Boise State's defense is good enough to slow down the Florida State offense, but
Yeah.
not shut down enough for their offense to score enough.
Mhm.
I agree.
All right, the other game, USC Bama. And
I'll take
sorry,
myself.
Dream, but I have to go with Bama.
I'm taking Bama too.
I'll take myself. I have faith in me.
Yeah, you gotta go.
See, the thing is, Bama's got a really good defense, and USC. I mean, USC does too, but they don't really have an offense. Bama has a fairly decent offense. I would expect Bama to win 24 to 14.
Bama. I'm not sure if you can really say Bama has an offense.
Yeah, their players are way better than your players offensively. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
but they haven't-
McCready is one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the nation.
Yeah.
Nate Craig is also really efficient. Though.
Yeah, but Nate Craig's not really that good once he plays a fairly decent defense instead of the people in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
He's going to be screwed.
I'm just trying to remain optimistic here. Okay.
We'll see. And for your championship game, since me and Dean both picked Bama, let's go Bama, Florida State, which might be the best matchup of the year between.
Yeah.
I picked Bama.
God. Yeah, I hate seeing that banner either way. No, I did. See, I lost to Bama, so I think Bama's a great team.
Bama
And-
is a great team, but Florida
When you think
State
about,
is optimal right now.
I'm pretty sure Florida State lost to the one SEC team they played, and that was Mississippi State. So you know what? I'll take Bama.
I'm gonna
This
go.
situation.
I'm gonna go with Florida State. If they
Yeah,
get in, I think they win it all. I
They
think.
definitely have a shot to do that.
I think
Yeah.
Randy has the coaching advantage. Randy, I don't know. I think they do. I think Florida State has the talent advantage, though. So it's going to be a very interesting comparison between the two.
Yeah.
And I just think Florida State pulls it out. I think they have the most talented team in the nation. If they're playing well, they'll win. Now let's go with Kansas. Your first game is Boise, Kansas. Who do you take?
Kansas.
Kansas?
Yeah.
Boise State has a solid run defense. and that could slow down Kansas. But I kind of agree with you.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
think.
Otero gets into the end zone enough times to put Boise State over, or put Kansas over Boise State.
Think about it this way: Kansas picked off Baylor 4 times, and they have a 5 quarterback, don't they?
Yep.
They're going to be starting a 1.5 out of 2.5.
God, Bowers might get just eaten up by this
Yeah,
Kansas
that would just be horrible. I don't see
If Bowers
Boise.
continues with the same amount of passes as he had in that last game,
I think he has to really.
yeah,
unless
because
they
I'm
go
not
scheme
sure.
change. But I don't think they can risk that.
Yeah, but you also can't really risk having Bowers be your guy controlling the team,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
All right. So Kansas, Alabama. Then
Well, hold on.
Like,
Oh yeah, wait. Yeah, we already picked that
we
game.
already picked
So
that. It's the same game.
can we just
yeah,
pretend you guys
No, because
think
Kansas
he was?
and USC win. No, Kansas, Bama.
yeah.
Fuck you
Bama.
guys. Bama, yeah.
Yeah, I think we
I
see
think Bama
Bama
wins
ban
this.
because their defense would probably or their run. Actually, no. I'm going to take that back. Um, I think Kansas could win that game. Hear me, because at least when I played Bama, their run defense was suspect, and Kansas's offense is very similar to mine, except they pass the ball even less. So I think what happens is Kansas would be able to run over Bama a bit with Otero, and Otero's better than Marcus Berry a little bit, I think. Maybe not statistically completely, but I think what is going on?
What are you doing? But I am. That would be an interesting matchup.
Yeah,
I think Bama takes it out. I think Tunch Richardson has a good game, but that would be one of the more interesting matchups because you look at Kansas and you don't see necessarily an elite team, but they've been playing like one
yeah,
in some of these games, and they just ran over Baylor, and they are red hot right now.
yeah. But I just think Kansas could do it if they make it. I think Kansas matches up better than FSU does.
Oh, I don't know. I like Kansas's rushing offense, but I just don't think their defense will be enough to stop Bama. And
Yeah.
Bama has an elite defensive line to help deal with Otero.
Tunch
But
Richardson.
Tunch Richardson back linebacker.
Yeah,
But I'd
but
love to see a Big 12 national championship.
yeah, and I think they deserve that. But that's my opinion. We'll see how Saluna feels. I'm not sure if he knows Weiss or not. We'll see. That'd be an interesting thing. You probably can't keep out. No.
Yeah, he knows Weiss from Dota.
Dota. Okay. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, I think that just about ends game day. I hope you all enjoyed our show. We're talking about doing something like this for the national championship. So if you guys are listening and you enjoyed that, we might do it again. But the national championship one would be longer and have some more plays involved.
Yeah.
So you
Probably more
don't
commentary.
like every time you hear, oh, Baylor has the ball or Kansas has the ball first and goal on Baylor's 2, and they're probably going to score a touchdown here. There'll be more plays. So
Where?
we'll see if people enjoyed this.
Yeah.
But that's our show. College Game Day is signing off. I'm Danger Zone.
I'm Dean Craig Pelton,
And I live in a dreamatorium.
and this has been College Game Day.